Today on the workbench, I've got a new project. This is a Broadway Limited GP30, and it is one of their stealth models, and actually this is one of their refurbished stealth models, so you can pick these up relatively cheap. But we're going to put in, I'll end up putting in a Blunami, a Soundtraxx Blunami decoder, and I've got a this is a Scale Sound Systems speaker, and I can't get to the bottom of the pack right now, but yeah, let's see, I forget what size this is, I'll have to look it up, but I've got 2318 written on this. But anyway, let's go ahead, get this apart. I really do like these Broadway Limited models because they're nice and heavy. They do pull well, they run really smooth. I've got several, but I like it when I can get these refurbished stealth models. That way I can basically do what I want to with them and not worry about it. But we'll go ahead and we'll pull the couplers out of the front and rear. So we've got that. I may upgrade those couplers, and I'll have to look here. Can't remember. I think there might be some screws underneath the fuel tank, if I remember right. Well, we're going to take it apart and see. So if you hear that humming in the background, that's my air conditioner, because it is summertime and is hot. Well, alright, I'm going to have to look at the instructions just to see how that... The bad thing is I've had these apart before, but I don't remember how they come apart. So anyway, I'll be back. Okay, with a little quick study, I'm going to go ahead and put these two, well, I'll hold off a second. But what I got to do is spread this shell out, and I like to use something soft. So basically you just get in here and pry the thing off. So there I've got the front started. Here we go. Just kind of falls apart when you get it, when you just barely get it started. So I think these two screws I'm going to put back in that fuel tank. Because I believe they hold the motor in. Anyway. So now, alright, we've got all this. I'm going to end up pulling this board out. Because I do want to put a Keep Alive in this too. I've got this TCS KA2 Keep Alive. So let's see. Pull that piece of, that's not black tape, that's some kind of a cloth covered something, I don't know what you'd call it, but in reality I could take and pull this board off, and we can plug our decoder into that, and then we could keep some of our lighting, well, all of our lighting functions. But the one thing I want to do is see where I can plug in, if I could connect my Keep Alive to this board, I wouldn't have to change it out. So and I believe that one speaker goes right here. I'll have to look at the Scale Sound Systems site to see, but at least we've got it apart for now, and that was our goal to start with. So yeah, let me do a little checking here, because if I may end up taking this whole thing out. We'll see. Okay, so I went ahead and I tested this thing. I put my decoder on it, and it looks like everything does work. And if you look in here, this little plug right here would be the place to put Keep Alive. I don't have any of this type of plug. I don't know what it is, a JST something. So I think in typical fashion, because this has class lights front and rear, the number boards front and rear work, headlight, of course, like I said, rear class lights. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have six functions: front and rear headlights, cab light, front class lights, rear class lights, and number boards. So 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Anyway, 6. We've got 6. So I think I'm going to change this board out. I'm going to go with the Decoder Buddy. That way it'll give me easier access to put in Keep Alive. This is the speaker right here. I'll get that tape off. So you can see right there the speaker, and that just unplugs. So that's easy. So let me get my little, I'll get these little, these are actually flush cutting pliers, Xuron. So but I use them to pull JST plugs out. So let's see, what do we have here? This is the track pickup coming from the rear. And then this one is the track pickup coming from the front. I believe these two, yeah, these two are the motor wires. So yeah, I'm gonna cut this whole thing up. This is our class lights. That's rear class and headlight, and this is the front headlight. And then we've got one more. So there's everything off of the shell. Now let's go ahead, pull a couple screws out. So this will only have one speaker in it when we get done. It'll be right there. There's that. And I was right about that wire. That is the motor wires. And then got this little board to pull off. Come out of there. Okay. So we're down to bare bones. Now I can get a decoder buddy put in there. Let me set this speaker on here. That tape, or whatever it is, take that off. Won't need that because I'll put in some double-sided tape. And before somebody says or comments, why didn't you just leave that in there? Of course, I already said I don't have this plug for the Keep Alive. So that's one of the big reasons. And the Decoder Buddy makes it so much easier to put everything in. Now if I wanted to, I'm not going to, but if I wanted to, I could cut this part of the weight off right here, that right there, and put a bigger speaker in than that one. But I think that's going to be fine because this stock speaker, it had enough volume to it. It's just you don't get the lows out of this like you do. You don't get the low frequencies out of the stock speaker like you do the Scale Sound speaker. Anyway, all right. Let me go get a Decoder Buddy. I'll be back, and then we'll start getting things ready. Okay, we've got our NixTrainz Decoder Buddy. That's the NTZ4, 1000 ohm resistors, 8 outputs, and yeah, simple enough. But another good reason, of course you saw another good reason to replace the factory board too, is when you go to do maintenance on this thing, you know, grease everything up. When you take the shell off, you saw how tight those connections were. Well, with this, I can put this on here, leave the board with the decoder, and then pull. You go ahead and pull it. Pull that lighting board off. That way it'll go with the shell. Board will remain back here, and we're good to go. So that's great. But another great thing, look at that. That fits perfectly into the original spot on this locomotive. So we'll go ahead and leave it there. I'll take the 2 screws from the factory. See if I can get it started straight. Okay, so we've got our board in, we're good to go there, and we'll start wiring things up here in a second. Always trying to find where to put something. But alright, I may end up changing this KA1 and put a different one in, but anyway, let's got the soldering iron heating up. I'm going to go ahead and cut those track wires, and I'm going to cut these track wires. And let's see, I may have to pull that board off. Well, I will have to pull this front side up so I can get these motor wires over to where I need them. Come on. Okay. There. That way they'll run right up into there. Now let's go ahead. Soldering iron's heating up. I'm going to go ahead and start stripping wires. I'll hold off on cutting that for a second. Of course, you can hear my air conditioner there. I think I said that once. Actually, let me put some flux all 4 of those. And then that. We'll go ahead and tin all of that. Okay, well, I put that on there backward. And the reason why I put it on backward, I want the lighting board up here in the front. And the reason for that is because all of the factory wires on the shell come toward the front of this. So I don't know how or why I missed that, but I did. No big deal. At least we didn't get everything connected and then I realized that I screwed it up. Just like I say, it's no big deal. Get that one cross-threaded a little bit. There it went. All right. So now we're good. Okay. The only thing I'll have to do now is just put a little bit of flux back here. And we can keep going. I just don't need to flux those two speaker wires up there. Let me flux this one wire. That way I won't get paste everywhere. Okay. Okay. There's that. There's our front pickups. Cut these motor wires. Cut them just a little long. Now I'm going to take a battery and check which direction this thing is going. Now if I can get it here to where I can see it. So the yellow is negative because that thing is moving in reverse right now. Or actually, I mean, yellow is positive. Yellow is the positive side. Of course, that's not marked positive or negative, but I'll go ahead. Yeah, I think I say it every video. I've got a 50-50 shot of getting that thing right. but at least I do know that it is yellow. So we'll do that one. We'll put that in that first hole. And then I'll end up putting the speaker in before I test it. Get some alcohol, clean that paste off of there, or flux. Okay, now let's get our speaker, clean that off, and we'll mount that. I just clean everything off with a little bit of alcohol. Double-sided tape. Be a lot easier to solder the wires onto this after I get that stuck down. Yep. That off of there. Now, I'm just wondering here. I think that tape is too thick for that. Looking for a straight edge. I may lay the body on here to check this thing, because I may have to change that tape out for some other tape. Well, that's close. I think I'll change it out. See how good that stuff sticks? I've got some carpet tape that is a lot thinner. It's just harder to work with. That's the bad part about it. just going to stick a piece of that on there, and then I'll cut it off. Trim it up here a little bit, get the knife out. And we'll get this, like I say, this stuff it's good tape, but it is a bear working with stuff this small. If I was putting carpet in, it'd be great. So now I need to get this peeled off, get it started. Okay, I think I've got a corner of it there. Something here to grab it. There. Got it. There we go. That saves me a couple of millimeters, and that can mean a lot. So now I'll get some see if I've got a piece of black wire here laying. Actually, I've got a piece of brown wire. Oh no, wait a minute. Yeah, I don't want to use that one. There. I'll use black with a white tracer. That'll give me plenty. So go ahead and strip this, and I can get some flux. Okay. Take care of the ends. There's that. Never have to put any flux on these speakers. Because they work out really well. Okay. Now I just need to cut that in half. Yeah, when I started this, I don't even know why I questioned whether or not to use that board. This Decoder Buddy just makes this thing so much easier to do what I want to do. So I've had really good luck with them. I don't know how many of these I've done. Say a couple hundred, if not more. Okay, so now I'm going to put that decoder on here and see where we're at. So I'll be back. Okay, so this, turn my one light down a little bit. I think you can still see that. So I didn't have, or the KA1 would not, it won't fit in here. Just by looking at it, I could tell it wasn't going to fit. So I went with a KA2, and now what I'm going to do, I cleaned that all up and put it in. But what I want to do, I'm going to pull the decoder back off, and so my 50-50 worked out this time. It did have the right direction of travel. The sound works. Now I'm going to hook up this Keep Alive. So we'll get that. Let's see. The second one is the positive, and this third one is the ground. So let me go ahead and we'll get these stripped. We'll get some flux on them. Of course, that's already those two pads already have flux, so we should be able to just go right along here. And I try, what I like to do is make sure everything, I try to keep the wiring inside of the board. Because that way it doesn't interfere with the shell. So put that little bend in there. Okay. So there's the Keep Alive. The speaker, track pickups, and the motor all hooked up. If I didn't want any lights, I could hook it up and go. or put the shell back on and go. But now we've just got to deal with our lights. And actually I can get that out of the way. Come over here with our light board, and I'll have to get my, yeah, I've got an old one, a couple of old ones here stuck to a plastic reel, and I can just set this board on it. That way I don't have to try to hold the board. But I'm going to go ahead, like I say, this one is the class lights. I got to get my tweezers out here. Okay, so I got my smart tweezers out. I'm going to start with these class lights. Cut that. Need to see which one is positive here. I'm going to bet yellow. And I would be wrong. All right. Red is positive. Need to charge up my smart tweezers. Oh well. Anyway, red is positive. And the only reason I said that was because that yellow one on the motor was positive, so I thought maybe, nope, turn my soldering iron on. So, get some stuff out of the way. Don't need that. But yeah, this will be the long process of lather, rinse, repeat as we go through. So, of course, all of these right here and on this end are positive leads. So I'm just going to take and put some solder on there. Just makes it easier. Now, where do I want to put that? I'll probably put it on A6. So, little flux. So that'll be my yellow wire. And of course the positive will go right here. And that was the front glass lights. So I'll get out my little notepad here. Aux 6. Front glass lights. So that's one. Now, start digging into this thing. That's all rear stuff. Let's grab this one. See what it is. Cut that. And I'll bet the red is positive. But who knows? Get out the tweezers again. So that is the cab light. So now I'll put it on a 4. As we'll just flux both of those. And then we've got our positive wire again. So A4 cab light. So now I've got 4 wires here, so that's probably that'll be the headlights and the number board, front number boards. So we'll cut them off as close as we can. And I'd say the red and gray. Get them separated, but Yeah, that's pretty tight right there. But that red will be positive probably for all of them. Maybe not. One more. Okay. We'll go ahead and flux these, tin them, and then we'll figure out what they're for. Not sure I got enough flux on that blue one. Okay. Break out the tweezers. It's so tight in there, I may have to do this off camera. I can't. Grab my other tweezers here. Well, whatever it is, red is not positive. Try this again. I think I may have turned this off. Oh. Okay, red is positive. Blue is the number boards. I think the red and blue go together. So red and blue. So I'm going to put the number boards on A2. Now I need to figure out which one, if any, go to this. Okay. Black is the front, gray is also. Red and gray are positive. So let me put, this corner one is the front. Nope, it's the rear. My mistake. My mistake. Go to this corner. Okay. So first, I'll grab that gray. Boy, that is really tight right there. But that'll save me some wiring. Okay. So A2, write it down, is the number boards. Yep. All right, cooking with gas. Got 4 more wires to hook up. So go ahead and cut that plug off. One, two, three, and there's our red. So let's go ahead, get these all tinned up. Okay. So I'm going to go with, well, red and blue. Well, red and yellow. Let's try red and yellow. Red and yellow, number boards. All right. There. Man, those are really, really short. red. So yellow is a number board. Where do I want to put that? How about probably put it up on A5. Actually, A3. And then I'll just put A5 out here too, get it. Make sure I have that one. That's A3. Oh no, it's not. Rear, front, A1, A3. A3 was the number boards. Write that down. So that's the front ones. This is the rear number boards. Okay. Now, I'll try blue as positive. Oop. Well, I've only got two combinations here. Somehow neither one of them's working. I know they work. I tried it. Well, what did I do? What did it do? So I don't know what I was thinking there, but I retried it, did it off camera because, well, I just wanted to. Anyway, blue is the class lights, and yeah, blue is the class lights and brown is the headlight. So put Mr. Blue back here on A5. So let me write that down. A5 is the rear class lights. So now we can go over here to this corner, which is the rear light. There. Everything is now hooked up. Pull that off of that. We'll get some alcohol here. We'll clean a little bit. Get some of that flux off of it. But that's everything. And this is still a little tight, but we'll get that all. Let me turn that around. The wrong way. So I'm going to have to redo the yellow, the front class lights basically, because that is way too tight. So I'm going to have to extend those. There's not enough there to not enough there to get it put in. So but you can see what I'm talking about with those factory wires. They are really, really tight in there. So let me go ahead and I'm going to cut this, make it easy. And turn the soldering iron back on. Didn't plan on extending anything. So really, what I'll do with this is take this off of the board and add a piece of wire. That way I only have one joint back here. So there's that. And that. So we were so close to finishing. So close. but I guess the best laid plans. But all of our functions will still be the same. Sitting here long enough, kind of hurt my back. So may end up using a yellow and a blue. I've got a red there. Let's see. I'm just looking for a little longer piece of wire. I'm just going to use that blue right there. No need to cut up something. There's that. So my red is now going to become blue. Shrink. So close. Now, one more time. Okay. Let me see if I can get a little piece of heat shrink down over that just to kind of keep those two together. Okay, now I need to get my little board back out. And those are still in there, you know, really tight. So here's our yellow, here's our positive, all right. Now we should be good. But I'm still going to have to do my little twisty move. Get that wire out of the way. Okay, there's that. We'll get our decoder on. There's that. Now we'll turn this back the way we need it. Keep that wire up there. There we go. All back together. Now I'll try it out before I put the couplers on it. So I'll be back here in a minute. Alright, we've got this thing completed. Got it up on the test track here. And we'll go ahead and run through the startup sequence. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and pull it back a little bit. And then you'll be able to see our lighting functions. Of course, we've got our headlight. We've got our class lights. You can see those come on and off there. And we've got a cab light. And there's the number boards. You can see those. So let me go ahead, I'll pull it forward here. And then I'll show you the I think you can see the number boards right there. So there's the rear number boards and the rear light, and of course we have our rear class lights. So yeah, this project, fairly simple project. We changed all the wiring, changed out the motherboard, you name it, we changed it out. Let me go ahead and back this up. So it does have pretty good slow speed. I haven't changed any of the factory settings. So we are good to go on this one. And thanks for watching.